Hello, my name is Inge and I'm continuing to make videos on my tapering journey regarding Seroquel. So I've made two previous videos. So the first one was called The Effect of My Keto Diet on My Mental Health, and the second one is called Keto and Tapering Seroquel, and I will link those two in the description. So this one is entitled My Liquid Seroquel Taper, and it's probably maybe the second last video I need to make regarding this. I'm just going to give a quick recap. I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder when I was 21, and that was the only time I was hospitalized. After that, I was pretty stable all my life with a few hypomanic phases. I'm now 59 and I'm working full-time. I started off just with being on lithium, and then other medications got added, and I've been on a combination of 4 medications for probably 2 decades, and I've been reacting very well to them with no major side effects. But I started a ketogenic diet about 2 years ago at the beginning of 2024. And I thought to myself, I want to test this diet. And now that I know that being on keto long-term is not easy, I think I deserve some benefits of this diet. So I started testing it with regards to coming off psychiatric medications. The reason being, I had seen multiple people on YouTube testifying how they had serious mental health issues like bipolar or schizophrenia and were able to ditch their medication. Not all at once, but slowly, like I'm doing it. So in September of last year, 2024, I started my journey with getting rid of Seroquel. Now, you need to know that almost always, I would say, tapering psychiatric medication is not a straight line process. You cannot expect it to go like this in terms of, straight line graph going down the medication. It is much more likely to be like this. So in the beginning, it could be quite a steep decrease, and then it flattens out and it gets harder and harder, and the increments get smaller and smaller at the end. So in September last year, I was taking 700 milligrams of Seroquel, and I started reducing in 50 milligram increments every 2 weeks, more or less. And it took me 6 months to get down to 300 milligrams without major problems. And then I felt this was getting too hard. So I switched to 25 milligram increments. And as I explained in a previous video, I used mainly sleep as my gauging point as to whether I'm doing okay, because I'm very, very sleep dependent. And if I sleep well, I'm mentally well usually. So as soon as I got serious sleep disturbances, I would either make the increments smaller or stay on a constant dose for a while. So after 6 months, I switched to 25 milligram increments and went down to 175 milligrams of Seroquel. It took about 2.5 months, and that was it. 25 milligrams are the smallest tablets you can get with Seroquel. So luckily, I found Dr. Yosef on YouTube. Dr. Yosef, I think you spell it Josef. He specializes in helping people get off psychiatric medications, and he is a psychiatrist himself. And he is of the opinion that in most cases, at the end of your tapering process, you need to switch to a liquid form. And that was true definitely for me, because I couldn't go smaller than 25 milligrams. And I didn't want to start cutting those in pieces. So luckily, I found a compounding pharmacy here that could do that for me. And this is how I did it. And it's not complicated. you take the amount that you're on, in my case 175 milligrams, and you tell the compounding pharmacy to make you a liquid using 6 milliliters. So the concentration, I should say, is 175 milligrams in 6 milliliters, in every 6 milliliters. But you're asking them for 90 milliliters. Why? Because this liquid Seroquel that I'm using can only be dispensed every 2 weeks at most, because it needs to be refrigerated. So 2 weeks supply would be about 15 days. So 6 milliliter times 15 is 90 milliliters. Then your daily dose that you work with is the 6 milliliters. And you need 2 syringes, one 5 milliliter syringe and one 1 milliliter syringe. The first day you would fill both and take the whole dose, 6 milliliters. Also, what needs to be understood is that the best way to do this is with a 1 milliliter syringe that has 100 lines on it. That way you can do the tiniest increments. And the 5 milliliter syringe only needs to have 5 lines on it. You only need the full milliliters. The reason being that in this way you can micro taper. Micro tapering means instead of tapering every 2 weeks or every week or every month, you taper on a daily basis by tiny, tiny amounts. And this will ensure that you have the least withdrawal symptoms. And Dr. Youssef makes it clear that if you have the time and you're in no rush, don't rush this process. Not only for safety's sake, in most cases at the end, not to rush, especially, and in the whole process not to rush really. But if you have the time, do it slowly. Why would you rush? And you will have less withdrawal symptoms. He would like a person on a tapering journey to be able to fulfill all their daily responsibilities, be able to work, so that there's no major disruption of your life. So this is what I decided to do. I took my 2 syringes, and I would every day fill up, after the first day of taking the full 5 milliliter plus 1 milliliter, I would then switch to taking 4 milliliters on the bigger syringe, and use the 1 milliliter syringe to taper down on a daily basis. And I would take 2 lines. So I would take 2% of 1 milliliter less every night. So there are 50 doses using the 1 milliliter syringe, because there's 100 little lines and I'm using 2 lines a day. So 50 times I can use that syringe. So that's over a month. I have 3 other medications that I would like to taper: lithium, Remeron, and clonazepam. I'm thinking of doing clonazepam next, and it's going to be tricky. It's way more addictive than Seroquel, but we'll see how it goes. I'll try that, and that will only be in April 2026, so it will be a while until you hear from me. If you have any questions regarding this liquid tapering, please leave me a comment below, and I will definitely give you an answer, because I don't think there'll be that much responses at this point, so I'm sure I can answer your questions if I can. And yeah, till next time.